Well, another day, another pointless scandal fueled by a group of people who are never, ever going to beat the weird allegations.
Nope.
Because the hottest topic online since we last saw you is the transvestigation of numerous Olympic athletes, but now focusing on one in particular, Imani Khalif, a female boxer from Algeria who was born female, identifies as female, has not undergone any transitional treatment, and is currently on the receiving end of horrific hate and vitriol from conservatives around the world, including, but not limited to, J.K. Rowling, Logan Paul, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, and pretty much everyone else that you would expect to immediately take a hardline stance on something that doesn't affect them, is completely inaccurate, and makes them all look extremely weird at a time where they're all trying desperately to shake that label as it becomes more and more accurate with every single post or reaction.
I'm not weird. I just want to inspect the genitals of every female athlete I see who doesn't conform to a very narrow definition of femininity. But let's just get into the basics of this story first. So Imani Khalif was born a woman, identifies as a woman, and is biologically a woman. Conservatives seem to be hyper-focused on the genitals of these competitors because ever since the opening ceremony last week, there have been claims made against numerous athletes, including some of our own country's athletes, from various talking heads and social media users. But none have seen as much vitriol as Khalif, who on Thursday of this week beat Italian boxer Angela Carini in under a minute with a few punches. This led to a deluge of posts claiming that the Olympic Games treated the Italian athlete unfairly by putting her in the ring with Khalif, with Carini claiming after the fight that she had never been punched so hard. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you're competing in the Olympics as a boxer. Getting punched really, really hard. Sort of part of how it goes.
And based on the footage, and
it can and will happen.
She kind of left herself open for that punch.
Yeah, also that's the thing, like, anyone who actually understands boxing, they're like, oh yeah, I mean,
left herself wide open.
Left yourself wide open there, all tilting the head back, just getting ready for the punch.
Yeah, we're not gonna go too hard on Carini because her words and performance are being twisted to fit a narrative espoused by some of the worst mudslingers online. As far as we've seen, Carini hasn't been involved in any accusations of impropriety. She very clearly expressed her reasoning behind quitting the fight, including a direct statement that she wasn't making any kind of political statement with withdrawing from that fight.
Sounds pretty based.
Though she did appear to ignore a handshake at the end of the match, leading many to conclude that it actually was some sort of protest. But here's the Associated Press. I felt a severe pain in my nose, and with the maturity of a boxer, I said, enough, because I didn't want to. I couldn't finish the match, Carini said. Carini, who had a spot of blood on her trunks, said she wasn't making a political statement and was not refusing to fight Khalif. Carini further said she is not qualified to decide whether Khalif should be allowed to compete. I just did my job as a boxer, Carini said. I got into the ring and fought. I did it with my head held high and with a broken heart for not having finished the last kilometer. A short while later, Italy's far-right prime minister did inject politics into it, consoling the athlete but adding, I know you won't give up, Angela. And I know one day you will win what you deserve with effort and sweat in a competition that is finally equal.
This all does weirdly like boil down to people just like not understanding athletic competition. Because if all athletes were equal, there'd be no winners or losers. They'd punch each other in the face at the exact same moment and fall down simultaneously. Sports are about inequalities. Yeah. So as for why this is blowing up in such a massive way, well, I mean, aside from being the biggest culture war issue of the past few years, it's because people are absolutely frothing to finally win a transvestigation that proves their bizarre ideologies. And with this case in particular, they're using the fact that a woman got beat up as an emotional anchor to their faux outrage. And this is in addition to a former disqualification that the boxer received because of tests that allegedly indicated she had XY chromosomes. But this was never directly expressed by the association who conducted the test. The original test was done by the IBA, International Boxing Association, which has plenty of its own problems. First of all, the current president of the IBA is Umar Kremlev, who has deep ties to Vladimir Putin, had a Russian company sponsor the association and pay off all their debts, banned a Ukrainian team from competing at one point, and had so many corruption scandals that the IBA was eventually stripped of their Olympics committee status.
So
just a little background on that.
we should also point out that Khalif is not an undefeated athlete. She has been beaten plenty of times by other women. So it is bizarre that this one fight is the moment that everyone decided to pounce on. Here's a very brief quote from The Athletic regarding her record. At the Tokyo Games, Khalif finished in 5th place in the 132-pound division. Khalif entered Paris with a 9-5 career professional record, with notable losses to 2 Irish boxers, Kelly Harrington in the 2021 Olympic quarterfinals and Amy Broadhurst in the 2022 World Championship finals.
So they must be even more manly than her.
But let's go a little further into this aspect of it, because Lauren Thiessen over at Defector had a great piece about this faux outrage with the incredible title, J.K. Rowling invents a trans Olympian to get mad at.
Yeah.
Here's some of what she explained. Links to full articles are always in the description below.
Khalif is not trans. This is evident because, according to the IOC, her passport lists her as female, which is something that the extraordinarily repressive Algerian laws would not allow if she were trans. She was, however, disqualified from the 2023 Women's World Championships because tests showed she had XY chromosomes, which is possible for cis women with certain conditions. Khalif made it to the quarterfinals of the 2020 Olympics, where she was defeated by Kelly Harrington without incident, and she has been boxing on the international circuit for years without any of her wins or defeats gaining much attention. But her fight against Angela Carini on Thursday made her a magnet for some truly disgusting hate. And her article then shows some of the hate that was thrown at Khalif, and it is brutal, especially when you consider that the entirety of the MAGA movement immediately pounced on this and has turned it into a big international incident. But again, before we get into this insanity, here is one of her own competitors, a woman named Amy Broadhurst, who beat Khalif in their last match together. Have a lot of people texting me over Iman Khalif. Personally, I don't think she has done anything to cheat. I think it's the way she was born, and that's out of her control. The fact that she has been beaten by 9 females before says it all.
And yeah, it would go on to someone replying, well, what if you had to fight her? And then her responding with, I did. And I won. And that person not only deleted their tweet, they deleted their entire account.
You know, it's good to see that shame still works.
Yeah. So folks, some people, male or female, are born differently than how you personally would like them all to look and compete. Some people have higher or lower levels of testosterone. Some people are born with genetics that make them extremely tall, yet we don't call tall basketball players cheaters. Some people, like Michael Phelps, have a wingspan that dwarfs other swimmers. But apparently he's not cheating.
Yeah, it's especially funny for this to be like boxing, a sport where like it's divided so heavily into like weight classes and stuff. Yep. Like with other sports, it's like if you're swimming, you're swimming. Yeah. I hope you're big enough, tall enough, wide enough.
And it's also not entirely about strength. A lot of it is technique. It's not exactly, but regardless, just saying that there's plenty of Olympic athletes out there that use their strengths to their strengths.
Unfair.
None of this matters to people online who have to air out their weird and bizarre theories, which then causes real life consequences for not only these athletes, who are not trans, but also LGBTQ folks who literally just want to live their lives without being dragged back into a culture war for the millionth time. A culture war that quite literally puts people's lives at risk. Literally. After this all blew up, a political candidate from Missouri put out an attack ad and used the worst homophobic slur that you can imagine to describe these Olympic athletes.
This bitch is an attention-seeking weirdo, and she's been at this for a few months. This is like
she is a crank, but she's also
running for Secretary of State.
Yeah, and said this without shame, out loud, proudly, and posted the video where she is now receiving praise for saying it. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about the normalization of this kind of hatred. Yes, this woman's a crank. Yes, she is way out. She is crazy beyond measure.
Yeah, it's less about her post, but then you look down at the replies and people are like, hell yeah, I wish you were in charge of my state.
It is
finally someone saying it.
It is giving them permission to talk and act the exact same way. This is the normalization of this type of hatred. It gives the green light to people who want to express their hate more publicly, but have justifiably been afraid to previously.
Yeah.
So let's check in on how these weirdos are dealing with a woman beating a woman in an Olympic event.
Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, dun dun dun, posted from her home in Turf Island. Watch this whole thread, then explain why you're okay with a man beating a woman in public for your entertainment. This isn't sport. From the bullying cheat in red all the way up to the organizers who allowed this to happen, this is men reveling in their power over women.
People pointed out, I don't know if this is fucking true. People pointed out that she posted a photo recently and it looks like there's black mold crawling up the walls of her house.
I mean, that would
and now
explain
everyone's
a
like,
lot.
okay.
But I will say, like J.K. Rowling, you know this because you live there and have personally sued people for libel and defamation. You are
opening yourself up.
I would keep an eye on that mailbox for the next couple weeks, or just someone coming to your door and serving you with something, because you have a lot of money and you have defamed someone as trans, where that could actually put her life at risk in the country where she lives. So have fun with that, you piece of fucking shit.
Logan, speaking of pieces of shit, Logan Paul, not to be confused with Jake Paul, though I'm sure their ideologies are similar in some ways, but everyone always screws them up. I want to be clear, this is Logan Paul, the Prime Energy,
the dead body guy,
WWE dead body in Japan guy.
Yeah.
Logan Paul tweeted, "This is the purest form of evil unfolding right before your
Oh,
eyes.
calm down.
A man was allowed to beat up a woman on a global stage, crushing her life's dream while fighting for her deceased father. This delusion must end." First of all, like, bringing the unnecessary drama of, like, competing for a loved one or a deceased loved one, and it makes no sense. Like, there's so many stories in the Olympics of people who lose after dedicating their...
Again, they fundamentally do not understand, like, athletic competition, which is weird for a guy who competes in athletic competition.
Well, competes.
Right, I mean, it's...
Even his actual boxing matches were, but he's in the WWE.
Someone's always going to lose, and that person is going to be very sad, and they're going to be like, wow, I really wanted to win to make my daddy in heaven look down on me with a smile.
But Logan Paul, he followed up on this tweet by posting, before I even get into this, I want to remind everyone that he called it pure evil.
Yeah.
In a very serious tone, but this is his reply to that previous tweet. Oopsies.
Whoopsies. Oops, did I do that? Oh, jeez.
Oopsies, I might be guilty of spreading misinformation, along with the entirety of this app. Although she's been previously disqualified for failing a gender test and has XY chromosomes, some sources say Iman Khalif was born a biological woman. I stand by my statement. He then linked to his original statement, which has since been deleted.
Elon Musk, he came in, did his thing here. He did what he always does. Launders someone else's bigotry and then agrees with it. Quote tweeting a post that said, "Men don't belong in women's sports. Hashtag I stand with Angela Carini." Adding, "Absolutely." Which is also bizarre because as of when we filmed this, Angela Carini was not asking anyone to stand with her or stand up for her. She literally put out a statement saying the opposite.
Yeah.
So
Trump also
making up a trans woman to get mad at, and making up a damsel in distress
that doesn't want to be your damsel. To put a pin in all this, here's a tweet from Andrew Lawrence of Media Matters. It just sums up the past 48 hours or so quite well. Everyone, please just stop being weird. Republicans. The best we can do is discussions of race purity and Olympian genitalia.
Yeah, it's...
because as you'll remember, before today, there was, and still ongoing in the background of all this, there is now a Kamala Harris birther argument going on.
Yeah, it's been like a little over 24 hours. So we're in 2 news cycles of the right being so weird.
Very weird.
At a time when all eyes are on them.
For being weird.
To verify. I've been hearing a lot about these guys being weird. Let me check on this. Oh, being very weird.
Yes.
Now that you mention it, they are pretty weird.
Yeah, it's, well, they're surely filling that accusation out quite well, especially with everyone looking at them. Yeah, you're right.
J.D. Vance taught me it was okay to be weird.
A wonderful quote, being brought back at the perfect time.
Anyway, on to now what should have been the biggest story of the day if it weren't completely overshadowed by a total non-story about Olympic athletes. 3 American citizens were released from Russian prisons after negotiations and a prisoner swap between multiple nations headed up by the Biden administration. Journalists Evan Gershkovich and Alsu Kurmasheva, along with Marine Corps veteran Paul Whelan, have been released. and were already on their way back to the United States as of when we filmed this episode. And with more on this massive undertaking and what went into all of it, here's CBS News. After a historically complex, months-long negotiation involving more than 6 countries and 24 prisoners, the Biden administration on Thursday announced it had secured the release of 3 American citizens from Russia. The 3 will return to the United States as part of a 24-person prisoner swap, one of the largest since the end of the Cold War, among the U.S., Russia, Germany, and 3 other Western countries.
The deal is a significant and hard-fought win for the Biden administration, which has secured the release of more than 60 hostages or wrongful detainees from around the world over the past 3 years. Few cases have received a similar level of prominence or scrutiny as the ones in Russia, a long-standing geopolitical rival of the U.S. with a history of taking and trading foreign detainees. All have endured unimaginable suffering and uncertainty. Today, their agony is over, President Biden said in a statement. In return, Russia will receive 8 of its nationals, including 3 that were being held in U.S. prisons. 2 Russians held in Slovenia, 1 in Poland, and another in Norway are also headed home. All have known or suspected ties to Russian intelligence, according to U.S. officials. And this is yet another blow to the Trump campaign, since he has been campaigning on this exact scenario and claiming that, obviously, he is the only person that could convince Putin to release these detainees. And when asked about Trump's claim that he could easily get all these prisoners returned to the U.S., President Biden replied,
"Why didn't he do it when he was president?"
Why did he do it when he was president?
I mean, yeah, Biden is old, but he got this done.
He did.
He added a dig to Trump at the end. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's true. Why didn't you, sir? If it was so easy.
This is the same reason why Republicans didn't pass comprehensive border security laws when they were ready to be signed on their desk.
They want something to campaign on.
Anyway, here's a few more stories from this past week. It's time for my stories. Starting with former CNN anchor Don Lemon attempting to sue Elon Musk. And he might be the first person to sue the billionaire without a decent argument, because this is kind of his fault. I mean, we said this throughout the saga. Don Lemon sucks, but Elon Musk sucks more. And
at the very least, just never take Elon Musk at his word. That's what you have to operate under.
He took Elon Musk at his word, which is something most people, especially now, know to be a terrible idea. Lemon allowed himself to get involved with Musk without any sort of written agreement or contract, and was somehow shocked when Elon failed to live up to his part of the bargain. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you've done this. This is all standard operating procedure for Musk, but Lemon thinks he's got enough evidence to take Musk to court and get something out of him, so I don't know, we'll see.
Now, in case you forgot, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, one of the first things he wanted to do was turn it into a video-first platform to compete with other platforms like YouTube.
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
Well, Twitter already had video and monetization features for quite a while before Musk took over, but that's neither here nor there. It just wasn't always promoted as a YouTube alternative, I
don't
guess.
even think Mr. Beast is uploading on Twitter anymore, or at least I'm not seeing him. Maybe I blocked him. I don't
know. Musk promoted the video-first pivot by announcing that he would support big creators bringing their shows to his platform and encourage creators from all walks of life and all political leanings to join his video program. The earlier days of this new program, that of course meant Tucker Carlson.
Tucker on Twitter. Sorry, Tucker on X.
But in an effort to seem unbiased, which is quaint in retrospect, Musk entered into a verbal agreement with Don Lemon after he'd been let go from his previous employer after being accused of misogyny and general misbehavior.
Yeah, he sucks. So yeah, for the first episode of his new Twitter show, Don Lemon chose to interview Elon Musk, and it was a great interview.
Yeah.
Because during that interview, he did some very basic journalism, just entry-level freshman year stuff that included pushing back on Musk through various topics.
Or asking him to explain further.
Yeah, just, hey, you said this once. What did you mean by that? It wasn't even that the interview was some rage-fueled attack on Musk. He just simply asked follow-up questions and pressed him on certain opinions that he held.
Yeah.
But still, this was enough for Musk to throw a tantrum and allegedly back out of the agreement that he'd made with Lemon. Because he got a lemon. He didn't know he would.
You could have got a lemon.
I could have gotten a lemon.
Regional
I did
joke.
get a lemon. Is it? Yeah, it's Toyota of Orange.
They're gonna make this the new lemon law.
Yeah.
You just never get into a deal with
I
Elon
wouldn't have
Musk.
gotten a lemon. So yeah, now Don Lemon is suing Musk over the canceled deal. Here's the New York Times with more.
Mr. Lemon agreed in January to take his new show to X, which Mr. Musk owns, as part of the platform's effort to create premium content to attract advertisers. Mr. Musk agreed to pay Mr. Lemon $1.5 million annually to produce videos exclusively on X, to give him a share of the advertising revenue from his videos, and to award Mr. Lemon additional cash incentives as his account gained followers, according to the lawsuit, which was filed in California Superior Court in San Francisco. Mr. Lemon did not sign a contract cementing the agreement, which he believed would be a launchpad for his new show after CNN fired him last year, the lawsuit said. Mr. Musk told him during a phone call that there was no need to fill out paperwork.
What are you doing?
And
Come on!
And reassured Mr. Lemon that X would financially support the show even if he did not like the views Mr. Lemon espoused, according to the court filing. X executives used Don to prop up their advertising sales pitch, then canceled their partnership and dragged Don's name through the mud, Carney Sherrigan, a lawyer for Mr. Lemon, said in a statement. And going further into this,
I am shocked that a man of this professional stature would enter into a deal,
a verbal agreement,
a fucking deal with no paperwork. Like, what are you doing? You do deserve everything that's coming to you at that point.
It goes further into the fact that, apparently Linda Yaccarino was the person who got him in there and was like, this is great. And then she instructed him, you know how we've been to upfronts before?
Yeah.
They were doing some kind of similar thing where they're like, and we got Don Lemon. And they used that to sell a bunch of advertisers on it.
Oh.
And then they backed out of the deal, which...
Okay, he might have a case. Yeah, if that's true, then he may have a case.
Yeah, if there's documents with his name on it that's being sent to advertisers as promotional material, there's probably a case there for something, I would assume.
Yeah.
But
hey, if you're tuning in to X.com to watch the Don Lemon show, no, you won't get a lemon.
You ain't gonna get a lemon?
On Twitter.com. No, you won't get Don Lemon.
I wouldn't have
gotten Don Lemon.
This is a very regional specific joke. It's a car dealership here in Southern California.
Toyota of Orange. We got that one. Then we got keys on Van Nuys. Which is just Beach Boys.
There was one in down south with what was the guy's name? He died a year or two ago. Cal Worthington.
Cal Worthington. Yeah, that man lived to be 200 or something. Yeah, that dude was awesome. Is the mattress guys? You're killing me, Larry. Yeah. Is that a regional thing too?
I don't know. Let's stop with the regional talk for now, and let's move over.
This is the only culture we have in America.
But let's move over to a quick but hilariously doomed story about AI continuing to creep into our lives. Remember a little while back when McDonald's announced that the company would be removing its AI-powered drive-thru technology after finally realizing that the AI consistently botched or misinterpreted people's orders? A computer misunderstanding customers and providing inaccurate orders seems like it would defeat the purpose of deploying the technology in the first place, which is what we've been saying for a while. The tech isn't helping to reduce costs, streamline service, or make other people's jobs easier. It's actually making things worse because errors happen and humans have to come in and double check and fix everything anyway. From a BBC article back in June, a trial of the system, which was developed by IBM and uses voice recognition software to process orders, was announced in 2019. It has not proved entirely reliable, however, resulting in viral videos of bizarre, misinterpreted orders ranging from bacon-topped ice cream to hundreds of dollars worth of chicken nuggets.
50 burgers, 50 French fries, 50 tacos, 55. Sorry, it's 55.
Hold on, I'm doing something.
So, despite not actually working the way it was intended, another fast food giant has announced that they are going to give AI drive-thrus another shot. Because according to CNBC, Taco Bell will be rolling out AI drive-thru ordering in hundreds of locations by the end of the year. Here's their reporting. Yum Brands hopes to use artificial intelligence to take down drive-thru orders at hundreds of Taco Bell restaurants by the end of the year. The restaurant company announced on Wednesday that it is expanding its rollout of the tech in the US as it eyes implementing it in drive-thru lanes globally. With over 2 years of fine-tuning and testing the drive-thru voice AI technology, we're confident in its effectiveness in optimizing operations and enhancing customer satisfaction, Yum Brands Chief Innovation Officer Lawrence Kim said in a statement. 5 KFC restaurants in Australia are also testing voice AI tech in drive-thrus. Yum Brands said. Yum!
Damn, it can understand Australians now? AI really is evolving.
Yeah, I mean, that is a milestone. They said it couldn't be done.
Do I have your order correct? No!
Last I checked, they still didn't even have Siri there. I mean, they have it on their phones, but they can't use it because they're like, Siri's like, can I help you with something? And they're like, no! And they're like,
what?
What? Sorry, what? No! Sorry, what? I didn't catch that. No!
But elsewhere in AI fails, it looks like Facebook has quietly deleted all of those celebrity AI avatars
This was the stupidest fucking idea.
that they spent millions upon millions of dollars promoting just last year. In case you forgot, people like Tom Brady, Mr. Beast, Kendall Jenner, and more all raked in very large paydays by signing their likeness over to Meta so that people could chat with their avatars as if they were talking to the celebrities themselves. This was obviously a stupid idea and a gigantic waste of money. But hey, good on those celebrities for robbing Meta blind only to have their likenesses removed after just a few months of activity anyway.
And plus, you don't need this. I can talk to Mr. Beast in my head. So I don't need...
With no pollution.
Yeah, I don't need it.
I'm up there talking to him right now.
Yeah.
Here's futurism with more on this gigantic flop.
In a major, though unsurprising U-turn, Meta, formerly Facebook, has euthanized its confusing celebrity AI clones, the information reported yesterday. These personas bore the faces of real famous people, but were bewilderingly presented as entirely separate fictional characters. Kendall Jenner, for example, was the face of Billy, a ride-or-die older sister who used phrases like, "No problem, boo," and "spill the tea." Tom Brady played Brew, a wisecracking sports debater with a questionable stance on Colin Kaepernick's NFL career. Paris Hilton played Amber, a detective who helped users solve whodunits, among others. The personas were more than confusing, though. They were also expensive, as reported last year by The Information. One celebrity was paid as much as $5 million for the meager 6 hours of work it took to transform himself into an AI avatar. Get that money!
Yeah. But now, not even a year later, it seems that Meta's multi-million-dollar cash out didn't quite pay off as the tech giant hoped. You can still chat with the characters, for now, but they no longer have celebrity faces.
Oh.
Each now bears a sad-looking AI-generated image as their profile photo instead. A tragic end to an even sadder AI effort. Quote, "You can no longer interact with AI characters embodied by celebrities," a spokesperson for the company confirmed to The Verge, adding that, "We took a lot of learnings from building them and Meta AI to understand how people can use AIs to connect and create in unique ways."
And we finally, after spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this, we realized we hadn't asked ourselves, who is this for? Why would anyone ever fucking use this shit? And so when we asked that, we were like, wait, this was a terrible idea.
Look.
Shut it down.
Look, if I'm lower on the totem pole at Meta and I am gainfully employed, and they're like, "Hey, you're doing this now," I'd say, "Okay."
Yeah, seems like something a lot of people are going to be really excited to use.
And you're telling me we have how long of a runway on this? And that's guaranteed work? Mm-hmm. Sure, I will make your little avatar characters. Once again, this is almost certainly management and Zuckerberg coming up with this stuff.
This is Mark Zuckerberg. Finally today, it looks like Deadpool and Wolverine are officially bigger than Jesus. Mm-hmm. The film has broken the record set by The Passion of the Christ as the highest-grossing U.S. R-rated movie ever, according to Deadline. Step aside, Jesus!
Get out of the way, Jesus!
Which says a lot about, it really says a lot about society. And it says a lot about the movie-going public. They just want to have fun and watch shit explode with a bunch of foul-mouthed characters that they already know and enjoy. They don't want to be preached to by the Son of God. Yeah. Get that shit out of here.
Deadpool and Wolverine...
Back in the cave, Jesus! We're closing you back in!
Even compared to other movies in the same genre, Deadpool and Wolverine at the very least looked at the American movie-going public and said, "We know what you want."
We know what you want. You want slop. And we got so much slop for you here. We got so much slop. Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of slop.
Yeah,
and it's just the slop you've been looking for.
And despite us being a superhero movie, don't you hate superhero movies? We're gonna break the fourth wall every 2 seconds to tell you how dumb all of this is.
I saw the last two in theaters, but this one they over-marketed it, and I don't even have like TV. I don't see commercials, and I somehow still managed to see so many fucking ads and brand integrations for this fucking movie that by the time it came out, I'm like, I feel like I've already seen it. Also, all the good stuff was spoiled immediately.
Yeah, I pointed it out here in a second in the script, but like anything that I would have been excited for or actually like been like, wow, in the theater was ruined on Twitter because people are just uploading direct rips or camera footage from movie theaters and posting it with all of the surprise cameos.
Someone posted the Spanish version, and I did click through it a little bit just to hear what Deadpool and Wolverine's voices were in the Spanish dub, and it was not what I expected.
Yeah.
Anyway, people prefer superheroes over the Lord Jesus Christ, and that's fine. But still, it managed to pull in around $380 million last weekend domestically, which is a big deal, bigger than Jesus, especially as an R-rated movie amidst some serious superhero fatigue from the general public.
Yeah, no, I think globally it's over 600 million. Probably will hit 1 billion. So I guess it's just people want what they want. So there you go. I'll watch it when it comes to Disney Plus, I guess.
I'll watch it on a plane.
Where it was meant to be seen.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for this episode. We do have Weekly Weird News coming up in a little bit, but in the meantime, again, not sponsored, you're going to have to go ahead and click that join button. Thanks so much. And big shout out to Magicians for Internet Today, who mocked up a beautiful portrait of me and Elliot handing out advice for $5.
Yeah.
The doctors are in, and it costs $5.
Well, I don't want to be referred to as a doctor at a time like this because the only other
notable doctor is playing chess while you're playing checkers.
He's opening up. So he's opening up PDFs all over the place.
Your helpful older brothers in Internet Today are here for you. Click the join button if you want to support the show financially, but please make sure you at least hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds. Click it right now. Thank you. It actually helps grow the channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already.
Subscribe if you're subscribed.
Sorry,
you know what he means.
It gets old saying this every day, but it works, so we have to keep saying it.
Subscribe,
baby. Now our other videos are up there. We got just every bit of outrage you could possibly imagine out of Republicans this week, all happening in like 3 days, and we got it all.
They're all gonna have like heart attacks at the same time.
You would think, but no, they live forever. Anyways, watch those and we'll be back soon.
Bye.